Did you know that many people have thyroid nodules and don't even know it? But how do you know if these little lumps pose a real threat? And when, after all, is it time to worry? In this video, we'll explore everything you need to understand about thyroid nodules, the subtle signs that can go unnoticed, the factors that really matter for their diagnosis, and when simple observation isn't enough. If you or someone close to you has heard about thyroid nodules, stick around and find out what really matters for your health. Thyroid nodules are small masses or lumps that can appear in or around the thyroid gland, a butterfly-shaped structure located at the base of the neck, responsible for producing hormones that are essential for metabolism and the regulation of various bodily functions. Although the presence of a nodule can cause some concern, it's important to understand that the majority of thyroid nodules are benign, i.e. non-cancerous. In fact, it is estimated that between 50% and 70% of people may develop one or more thyroid nodules throughout their lives, especially as they get older. These nodules can vary widely in size and structure. The shape of each nodule can also vary and can be round, oval, or, in rarer cases, irregular. Although some nodules are large enough to be seen or felt by touch, others can be so small that they are only detected in detailed imaging tests, such as ultrasounds. In general, thyroid nodules are divided into three main categories. Solid nodules. These nodules are composed predominantly of thyroid tissue and tend to be denser. On ultrasound scans, they appear as more opaque areas. Most solid nodules are benign, but when they become larger or have specific characteristics, such as irregular borders or accelerated growth, they can raise suspicions of malignancy. In these cases, it is common for the doctor to recommend a fine needle aspiration biopsy to examine the tissue more closely. Cystic nodules. This type of nodule is filled with liquid and can vary in consistency depending on the content, which can be clear fluid, thick, or even contain some cellular debris. Cystic nodules are generally benign and less likely to be cancerous, but in some cases they can become large, causing discomfort or even compression of nearby structures. When necessary, they can be deflated to relieve symptoms, although some will refill over time. Mixed nodules, also known as complex mixed nodules, these nodules have both solid and cystic components, i.e., they contain areas of thyroid tissue along with areas filled with fluid. On ultrasound scans, they appear with zones of different shades, reflecting their mixed composition. Like other types of nodule, most mixed nodules are benign, but their characteristics can also be observed closely on scans to ensure that they don't show any suspicious signs. These types of nodules have different implications, which is why, when a nodule is detected, it is important for the doctor to assess its nature and classify it appropriately. This evaluation process makes it possible to decide whether the nodule only requires regular monitoring or whether specific treatment is necessary, depending on characteristics such as size, composition, and the presence of associated risk factors. Before continuing, if you're learning about the thyroid and want to delve even deeper into your health, check out the video description for my exclusive ebook with valuable information and practical tips to better understand your thyroid health. Also, subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and join our community to find out more. In the majority of cases, thyroid nodules are asymptomatic, which means that the person has no visible symptoms, and often the nodules are discovered incidentally during routine examinations or by imaging done for other reasons. However, in cases where nodules grow significantly or have more aggressive characteristics, they can cause symptoms ranging from mild discomfort to more alarming signs. Here are some common symptoms associated with thyroid nodules. Lump sensation in the neck. When the nodule is large enough, it can be palpable and, in some cases, even visible, appearing as a slight bulge at the base of the neck. This sensation is one of the most noticeable symptoms for people with larger lumps. Difficulty swallowing or breathing. Nodules that increase in size can compress the windpipe or esophagus, resulting in difficulty swallowing food or, in rarer cases, breathing problems. This symptom is a warning sign that warrants a detailed medical assessment. Hoarseness or changes in the voice. If the nodule exerts pressure on the laryngeal nerve, which is responsible for controlling the vocal cords, the person may experience changes in their voice, such as hoarseness or vocal weakness. Persistent changes in the voice are an important symptom and should be examined by a doctor, especially when there is no other obvious cause. Pain or discomfort in the neck. Although uncommon, some people may experience mild pain or discomfort in the area of the nodule, especially if it is inflamed or growing rapidly. Hormonal symptoms. In some cases, nodules can be functioning, i.e. produce thyroid hormones independently of the thyroid gland. This can result in symptoms of hyperthyroidism, such as nervousness, weight loss, palpitations, and a feeling of excessive heat. This condition is known as an autonomous nodule and usually requires medical attention, as it can impact the hormonal balance. Some specific symptoms deserve attention and are considered warning signs, indicating that the nodule may need further evaluation. Rapid growth of the nodule, for example, is one of the most commonly observed signs of suspected malignancy, as nodules that rapidly increase in size may indicate a more serious problem. Another important factor is a family history of thyroid cancer. People with family members who have had thyroid cancer or other related conditions should keep an eye out for symptoms and undergo regular examinations, as there is a greater predisposition to malignant changes in these cases. In addition, nodules that are firm and fixed to the touch, i.e. that don't move easily, may have more suspicious characteristics and need to be evaluated carefully. These warning signs are key to quickly detecting any problem that requires medical attention, ensuring that, if necessary, the nodule is examined and monitored by a specialist. Even when symptoms seem mild, medical evaluation is essential to ensure that there are no health risks, promoting safe and preventive follow-up. The formation of thyroid nodules can be influenced by various factors. In some cases, they are associated with a genetic predisposition. In other words, people with a family history of thyroid nodules are more likely to develop them. In addition, age plays an important role. With advancing age, there is a greater likelihood of changes occurring in the gland, such as the formation of nodules. Another relevant factor is iodine deficiency, an essential element for the production of thyroid hormones. A lack of iodine in the diet, which is common in certain regions of the world, can increase the risk of nodules developing. Although most nodules are asymptomatic, some can grow to the point of compressing nearby structures, causing discomfort or symptoms such as difficulty swallowing, a feeling of pressure in the neck, or even changes in the voice if they affect the vocal cords. These symptoms are less common, but when present, they usually signal the need for medical evaluation. When a nodule is detected, the main concern is to determine whether it is benign or malignant. Fortunately, only a small percentage of thyroid nodules are cancerous, and medical evaluation helps to identify those that need follow-up or intervention. Examinations such as ultrasound are often used to assess the shape, size, and composition of nodules, helping to define whether a biopsy is necessary, especially when the nodule shows suspicious characteristics such as rapid growth or irregular margins. When a thyroid nodule is identified, diagnostic tests are essential to assess its characteristics and risks. Ultrasound is usually the first test requested, as it allows us to see the size, shape, and structure of the nodule, differentiating between solid, cystic, or mixed nodules. To assess the function of the nodule, thyroid scintigraphy can be used, classifying nodules as hot, functioning, or cold, non-functioning, with cold nodules having a slightly higher risk of being malignant. Fine needle aspiration biopsy, FNB, is the definitive test to determine whether the nodule is benign or malignant. In this test, a sample of cells is taken directly from the nodule and analyzed in a laboratory. These tests allow the doctor to decide on the best follow-up, treatment, or, if necessary, intervention. That's it. We've reached the end of this video, and now you know that although many thyroid nodules are harmless, some signs shouldn't be ignored. Keeping an eye on the symptoms, having regular checkups, and understanding the risks are essential steps in taking care of your health. If you notice any changes or have any doubts, don't hesitate to seek medical advice. Taking care of your thyroid is an investment in your quality of life, and taking preventative measures can make all the difference. Thanks for watching, and if this video was useful to you, don't forget to like it and share it with those who can benefit from this information.